How'd you pass him? Why do you think that happened? Because on paper, like you said, he had all the advantages.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. One is, like I said, I have the utmost respect for Lou, and there was a really, really intense race element to this going on, and ultimately, I think fueled by that race element is in a lot of ways why I was successful, and ultimately he finished 2.5 days after me. So he was not the first, he's the second, but after 100 years of no one achieving this, he also did achieve the goal, and it should be certainly applauded. I certainly applaud him. I think it's amazing. I ended up actually waiting for him at the end to get flown out of there so I could congratulate him on his extraordinary accomplishment as well. But I think ultimately there was a piece of that where we both pushed each other. By virtue of us both being out there, like neither of us took an off day ever. We never took a day of rest, which is really atypical of any large polar exploration. There's just so much fatigue and so much bad weather and stuff. Like typically you'd be like, okay, like I've been out here for 20 days and haven't taken a rest day, and this storm is like insane, and like all the things could go wrong, taking my tent up, putting it down, freezing, frostbite, whatever. Like, you know what, I'm gonna take a day off. And neither of us took a day off because we were all both afraid of losing ground to the other one. But because of that, like I still pretty much ran out of food on my last day. And so had I taken those days off early on, I may have gotten in a situation where I would have run out of food. Or I wouldn't have, it would have been easy. You talked about bargaining before, like sort of in your own process of, doing your long runs, training for your half Ironman, there would have been a lot of times, and there were times anyways that I was bargaining with myself, but it would have been a lot easier to be like, you know what, the storm's really brutal today, and I've already put in 8 hours, like 12 hours is a full day, but like 2/3, like that's pretty solid, and I've made some good distance, you know what, like, it'd be very easy, like the amount of times I wanted to quit out of there, like thousands, every day. Like I'm in the worst, most horrible, although most beautiful in the same way, the yin and yang of the most beautiful and spiritually connected place that I've ever been in my life, as well as the most brutal, inhospitable, suffering, intense place ever, but wanting to quit. But I'm bargaining with myself. But because, although I never saw Lou other than the day that I passed him on the 6th day for a few fleeting minutes, this omnipresent like figure of if you bargain with yourself, or if you stop, or if you quit right now, this adversary, this competitor, is gonna pass you and achieve the goal that you're setting out to achieve. And so this weird thing of that I actually never, like I said, other than seeing him for a few minutes out there at the very start and on the 6th day when we, crossed paths for a brief moment, emotionally, he was riding there right behind me the entire time, forcing me to stay accountable to my goal, stay accountable to myself, not bargain with myself, and keep pushing forwards full days every single day. And him and I both acknowledge each other for that, which is, it's possible that we both finished, and ultimately, I guess, me first, and I'm proud of the fact that I'm first, but like that we both ultimately finished because on a human level, we were out there pushing each other to exceed the edges of even what we thought was possible, and to break through, perceived boundaries that we maybe didn't even see ourselves before starting.